Hi everyone, I decided to do another voiceover, and that is because this video has been very choppy. So it was one of those days when I had a lot of interruptions and they were quite unplanned. So I had someone ring at my doorbell a couple of times, so I had to stop filming and stop doing what I was doing and get off the get off the desk, and that usually kind of knocks you a little bit off the project that you're doing. So I just wanted to be real and share that experience with you and the struggles that I had during this project, and how I try to overcome them. So I am going to look at this beautiful dress that Zendaya wore to the Emmys this year, and it's been a lot in the press and especially covered a lot by the fashion industry because she was one of the best dressed this year at the Emmys, and it is easy to understand why, because this dress is absolutely stunning. It really showcases her figure and the play with the fabric, the sheeriness of the corsage, and just the whole thing is just really a stunning piece of a dress. So I was inspired by it, and I really wanted to give a go to fashion illustration, which I haven't done in a long time. So I felt a little bit rusty when doing this, and essentially what I was trying to do here is just to try and exaggerate the lines and the shapes. So that essentially is what makes it a fashion illustration, and then even more so, elongate the arms and the hips and kind of make it stylized. So that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to capture the dress, and there wasn't much going on in the dress, so it was actually very easy to draw. Now there are a few images of this dress from behind, and it is absolutely stunning because you can see the tail of the dress and how it hangs and how the fabric, it sort of felt like or it looked rather like a some sort of silky satiny kind of fabric. So it had some beautiful movement. This bit is where the struggle sort of begins, because I started drawing a face, and I did it kind of in a way that's not really my style. I really felt like doing the head and the face in my own style, but that just didn't go with it, and I decided to do something different at this time. So at this point I probably should mention that I wasn't aiming to illustrate Zendaya. I was just taking inspiration from her hair and her dress. Now the hair is, as you will see later, will cause me a lot of problems, because again, I just don't like drawing or painting hair like that. It really comes out not good. I just don't like it in my own style. I do like when other people do it, but not for me. So here I'm proceeding to the skin tone, and I'm using my own watercolors. I thought I'll give you a little bit of another sneak peek and let you see what these watercolors look like in action. Now, I said this before, this particular little sample palette that I have here is just colors that are kind of in the making, so they're not really, they won't be available for the first palette. The first palette is going to be something a little bit different, although there is one or maybe two colors that possibly will be included in the first palette. So that is basically what I'm doing. I have added the first kind of layer of the watercolor, which I will then deepen slightly more for the depth and highlights. And here I'm going into Parylene Green, which I believe this one is from Schminke, and it's the perfect color to resemble that kind of emerald green juicy color without it going into the direction of Viridian, which would be just way too much. So here she starts to look like Ariel, and I really was not into it at all. I do love the actual style of Zendaya wearing her red hair up against that beautiful emerald, muted emerald skirt, fabric, dress. But the illustration just did not work out at all, and so I'll try to do a number of things. So first of all, the face as well is not within my style, and I had to stylize it because I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't trying to paint or draw Zendaya. So I let the watercolors dry a little bit, and then I will just see what I kind of, how I can improve, if I can improve at this point, the hair and the face situation. So here I think I was sharing the Illustrated Faith Bible mat with you because it's a great little mat to have if you love working on Tomoe River paper, which is extremely thin. There are two thicknesses to the paper, all the weights, and this one is the lighter one, and it's the 52 GSM. So therefore there aren't any bleeds, like bleed throughs, but I do get some indentations usually from drawing on it because it's so extremely fine. But it's fantastic for watercolor if you like that crinkly look, and also how the watercolor settles in the little puddles and then dries in a nice pattern. This is now where I'm trying to do something about the hair, and I thought maybe if I watercolor it with black watercolor on top, maybe that will knock the redness a bit down and kind of settle it a little bit more for my liking, my own kind of illustration style. And now I picked up the beautiful color, which is called Moonlight. It's number 10. It's a jelly roll pen, and it's a beautiful turquoisey teal type of a color, and it is just one of my favorite colors. So I used that to offset that kind of mesh of a fabric of the corsage, and I thought that because it's a little bit orangey there, the turquoise really looks nice with that color. So here I'm building up the skin tone, as you can see. And what's interesting, when I created these samples colors, I thought they look like skin colors, but I thought they might be a little bit too close together, and this was just when swatching them. However, when I started to use them as watercolor, I realized that they are different enough, and when I work with them all together, it just looks really, really good. So here I thought that maybe I should go back to the face and try to improve the you know, the face features, and maybe that would make it a bit more of my style. And so I'm using the Platinum Carbon ink fountain pen, which has waterproof ink. All the links will be provided below as always. And so I still was not happy. I still was not happy with the hair, with the face, and then I kind of felt like that was disturbing from the beautiful dress. And actually I was very happy from the neck down. I was very happy with the illustration. So I decided I'm just gonna pull out my Liquitex heavy body acrylics, which are really beautiful quality. These are the professional variety, and here I'm trying to mix up this beautiful teal color. So I'm using the blue, which is a light blue permanent, and a little touch of cadmium yellow medium hue, just to bring that blue slightly more towards like a teal, so slightly to green it up. And then I also will add some of the white gesso, which is basically like a, you know, white acrylic, but it also serves as a purpose to, if I wanted, for example, to watercolor on top of it, I could do that, and it would be a nice effect. So that one was from Dina Beckley, and that is something that I was very happy to do, because I could basically erase the parts that I didn't like. And like now you can see it already looks so much better, but of course I had to work in a few layers because the ink or the watercolor, whatever was underneath, was coming through a little bit. So I had to dry a few times and then come back in with the acrylic and get it to the level where I was happy, so I couldn't see any of that hair or that face that was distracting so much from the actual illustration. So I'm just building it up, adding a bit more white to it to lighten the color of the acrylic. And I will also change the brush sizes. This is a flat brush, which is great to fill in larger space quickly, like this page for example. And then I'll swap to like a small round brush, which I could get into that. You can see on the left there is a little bit of that hair peeking through underneath the arm or between the arm and the body, which would be hard to get into without creating mess with a flat brush. So I have never used acrylics before on 52 GSM Tomoe River paper, and it actually feels really nice. Feels quite flexible. It doesn't feel like it would be dry or, you know, cracking or anything like that. So maybe because the acrylics are very good quality, but either way I really like this style. And I think instead of just having a white background, you have a little bit more to the page as well. So in future I will be combining the acrylics. I would first do the drawing part and the watercolor, and then fill everything else with acrylics. So this is the bit where I was telling you about switching to the smaller brush so that I could get into those areas, and I can get it completely opaque, so I cannot see the hair or the face at all. So I think I did about 3 coats and it is completely opaque and beautiful. Alright, so today has been all over the place because I had a lot of distractions. I had, so basically I think it's a very good representation of what our lives sometimes are. I had someone come in the morning, I had someone else coming in the afternoon, which I actually did not expect. So they just turned up randomly at the door and I was in the middle of filming, so I had to get up and get distracted. So things like that. And also cooking tonight's dinner as well, that has been like I had to run down and put the sauce onto the meat and put it back in the oven, and I probably ran up and down the stairs about 10 times today, no joke. So it's been, and that's like within what, a couple of hours. So yeah, it's one of those days today that's completely all over the place, and I'm just trying to go with it. I'm not stressing about it, and I think if I could share that with you, just go with it. And sometimes when we really want to do art and there's loads of distractions coming our ways, just bear with it and keep on going. And I think this is what I've done here. I decided in the end to go with this beautiful teal color that I mixed up, and it's acrylic paint, so it looks gorgeous onto my river paper. So yeah, and now I'm at a stage where something else needs to be done before I can consider it like finished. And I think just a little doodle here and there will do it for me personally. And at this stage I don't want to overdo anything because I want the dress to stand out on its own, but just a little bit of something here and there, maybe a little here. And even if I would mess something up right now, I could always go back and put acrylic paint over it, and that's the beauty of acrylic paint, because you can always keep on going and layer it and work on top. So it's a really fun medium in that respect. So I think this is it. So I'm just using my gold Uniball pen. By the way, I haven't used it in quite a long while, and what happened was I think the mica or whatever it is settled in a way that it sort of dried up. So what I did was I took this out and then rolled it between my palms, and the heat from your palms generally gets the ink going again and it started writing. So don't throw it out if you can see that there is loads of the pigment or whatever it is still inside. So I am going to possibly consider adding some white dots here and there, just very, very subtly, again to break things up and just to create a little texture here and there. These little doodles, they always help to finish the page for you. I don't know if you can see it in the minute. I'll just bring it up. There you go. Very subtly, but they are there, and it's just creating a little something. So that is it. I really love how the skin tone came out. I love how the rest of the dress and everything else is looking now with a more kind of clean looking page, and that is it for today. So if you do come across struggles in your art, pull out some acrylic paints, paint over, leave some of the parts of your illustration that you like, and then create a mixed media piece. So that is not what I had in mind when I first started, but just go with it, go with the flow, and I think that's how you push yourself to try something different. So thanks for watching and see you soon.